it's time to make Kate's famous grits recipe. This is a savory recipe that Kate came up with, and I'm going to show you today. Get your pot on heat and add about a half a cup of water to it. I like to saute with water and vegetable chicken broth as opposed to oil. And once that gets up and going, turn it on down to about halfway heat. And first thing you do is add your mushrooms. I do about 8 mushrooms cut into quarters. Just toss them on in there and let them saute. I like to saute the mushrooms first. They release a bunch of juices and flavor that gets into everything else. Once those are cooked down a little bit, we're going to add just a little bit more water here. And now we're going to add 2 about medium to small yellow onions that have been diced. Go ahead and throw those in there, get them stirred in, and let those start cooking down until they're roughly translucent in color. So here they are a few minutes later, and now we're ready to add 4, these are pretty good sized cloves of garlic. Normally I'd do about 6 smaller cloves. And then we're going to add 2 teaspoons of salt, a teaspoon of sage, and a teaspoon of black pepper. Get that stirred in there and let those cook. They're just going to cook for a couple of minutes. Then we're going to add a whole bag of frozen collard greens. And then we're going to add 4 cups of water here. We're going to add about 4 teaspoons more of the chicken broth, which is vegetarian chicken broth. And then I'm going to add 4 more cups of water for a total of 8 cups of water. And now we're going to bring that heat up to high. We're going to get that to a boil on those greens. Put a lid on it. And once it starts boiling, we're going to turn that heat down to a simmer. And we're going to start a timer for 15 minutes. And at the same time, we're also going to add 2 tablespoons of Smart Balance margarine. Get that all stirred in there. And we're going to get a lid put on that. And those collards need 20 minutes of cooking. So we're going to cook them for 15. Once those are done, now we're going to add 2 cups of grits. We got yellow instant or quick grits here. And make sure you use a whisk when you add those in and get those stirred up. If you don't use a whisk and get it well stirred, you're going to get clumpy grits. And nobody wants clumpy grits. So get that whisk it up. Whisk it real good. We're really whisking it up on this one. Get that lid back on. Set the timer for 5 minutes. And the grits are going to start getting happy. Once that 5 minutes is up, we're going to add our nutritional yeast, otherwise known as NOOCH. This is really yummy stuff. It's got a cheesy flavor to it. You can get ones that are fortified with B12. And we're going to turn our heat off now. Very important. And go ahead and get those that nutritional yeast mixed in there real good. And it'll get a nice cheesy flavor to it. And then you're going to want to let it sit probably for about 5 minutes or so. Not only to let it cool, but just let everything get nice and happy in there. And this particular recipe makes 6 servings of grits. So 2 heaping bowls we're going to make today so that Kate and I can have breakfast. We like to put some avocado slices on there. You can do what you want. And then we've got Kate's famous biscuits that we're going to put on here as well. And that's breakfast. Now you've got 4 more servings. So from Kate's grandfather's journal, we're going to put those into a bread pan. Toss those in the refrigerator. It's going to set up real nice. You can just slice out layers of that, heat it up, and you got breakfast good to go.